Have you ever answered a simple question, only to realize later it wasn't a question at all, but a trap? Some questions don't seek truth, they seek control. And by the time you sense it, it's already too late. The game has begun. Have you ever heard a question that sounded innocent, yet something inside you whispered, "Something's not right here"? A gentle tone, a polite smile, maybe even fake concern. And still, the moment you responded, you felt it. The quiet sting of manipulation. You just stepped into a game you could never win. This is the art of the liar. They don't always lie through words. They lie through questions. If you fail to recognize the disguise, you'll find yourself doubting your own memory, apologizing for things you never did, until one day you're fighting against yourself instead of them. The ancient Stoics understood this centuries ago. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, all warned that deception rarely arrives with noise. A liar doesn't strike head-on. They plant subtle seeds of doubt, then stand back and watch you destroy your own peace. 2,000 years later, their tactic hasn't vanished. It's only evolved. Quieter, sharper, more disguised than ever. In today's video, we'll expose the 5 most dangerous questions liars use to manipulate, confuse, and control. But more importantly, you'll learn how the Stoics would respond, calmly, clearly, and unshakably, so you'll never be anyone's pawn again. So stay with me until the end. And if this lesson strengthens your awareness, subscribe. Not for me, but for yourself. Because the mind that keeps learning keeps free. Now, let's begin. Question number 1. Why are you being so sensitive? At first it sounds harmless, almost caring. But don't be fooled. This is the first bullet fired by the gaslighter. Hidden inside that question isn't curiosity. It's accusation. What they're really saying is, you're weak. You're imagining things. The problem isn't me, it's you. Think back for a moment. Have you ever been in a relationship where the second you spoke up about something wrong, they laughed and said, "Oh, you're just too sensitive"? Or maybe at work you questioned an unethical choice, and they replied, "Don't overreact, it's just business." That's not concern, that's a weapon. Because their goal is to take away your greatest defense, your awareness. They twist your sensitivity, your natural radar for danger, and turn it into shame. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Manipulators know this. They plant doubts in your imagination until you start believing you are the problem. But here's the truth. Sensitivity isn't weakness. Sensitivity is awareness. The person who feels deeply is often the first to notice when something's off, long before anyone else does. A financial analyst who catches a small inconsistency in the books, mocked as paranoid, until months later, $1 million fraud is exposed. A wife who senses her husband's subtle distance, dismissed as overreacting, until the betrayal surfaces. In both cases, sensitivity was not a curse. It was the early warning system. So what would a Stoic do? Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for it is truth that I seek, not victory." A person who truly values you will never shame your awareness. Only those hiding something fear your perception. So next time someone smirks and asks, "Why are you being so sensitive?" Don't shrink. Don't get angry. Simply recognize what's happening. And remember, awareness is your armor. Your awareness is your armor. And now, it's time to learn how to use it. Because the next move in this psychological game is subtle, manipulative, and just as dangerous. When someone says, "Why are you being so sensitive?" don't defend. Don't explain. Just look at them calmly and say, "I'm not being sensitive. I'm being observant." Does that make you uncomfortable? One sentence, and you'll watch the mask begin to slip. The truth never fears observation, but lies? Lies tremble when light touches them. Question 2. You trust me, right? It sounds gentle, even affectionate, but beneath that soft tone hides a trap. Because anyone who demands trust instead of earning it has already shown you why they shouldn't have it. Think about it. A trustworthy person never needs to ask for faith. Their actions prove it. Quietly, consistently, over time. Day after day, reliability builds trust, brick by brick. But when someone looks you in the eye and insists, "You trust me, right?" What they're really saying is this: don't think, don't question. Just hand me the keys to your mind. Epictetus warned us long ago, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Liars understand this deeply. They use that question to paralyze your curiosity, to make you feel guilty for being cautious, to convince you that wanting proof somehow makes you disloyal. But caution is not betrayal. Caution is wisdom. Imagine this. A business partner refuses to show you the numbers but leans in with a charming smile. Trust me. Or a lover who keeps their phone face down, locked, hidden, yet whispers, "Don't you trust me?" They're not building trust. They're demanding blind faith. And blind faith is the soil where betrayal grows. So how would a Stoic respond? Not with panic, not with defensiveness, but with calm detachment, the discipline the Stoics called apatheia, the mastery of not letting emotion overrun reason. When faced with the words, "You trust me, right?" Pause, take a breath, and say, "Trust is earned through consistency. Are you asking me to ignore my judgment?" That single line flips the entire power dynamic. Because suddenly, the light is no longer on you. It's on them. A liar will stumble, deflect, or lash out. But a person of integrity, they won't be offended. They'll simply nod and continue proving through action that they are worthy of your trust. Remember this: trust is not a gift given under pressure. It's a fortress, built stone by stone through truth, time, and consistency, and the Stoic never forgets to give that fortress away too quickly is to surrender your peace. Question 3. Are you accusing me of something? This one is clever. It looks like an innocent question, but it's actually a shield, a way to twist the spotlight back onto you. Here's how it works. You notice something feels off. You raise a concern. You ask a question. And suddenly, instead of answers, you're met with a sharp counterattack. Wait, are you accusing me of something now? Without realizing it, you've been dragged out of the observer's chair and thrown into the defendant's seat. You're no longer questioning their behavior. You're busy defending your own. You start backpedaling. No, that's not what I meant. And in that instant, you lose your footing. You lose your power. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best answer to anger is silence." But in Stoicism, silence does not mean surrender. It means refusing to play a game that isn't yours to play. Think of a courtroom. If the guilty can make the judge apologize, the trial collapses. That's exactly what this question is designed to do, to flip the power, to make you doubt your right to observe. So how should you respond? With stillness, with composure. When someone snaps, "Are you accusing me of something?" Don't rush to fill the silence. Let it hang there, because in that silence, truth starts to echo, and the guilty always hear it first. When someone tries to twist your honesty into accusation, stay still. Don't explain. Don't chase their approval. The power is never in the noise. It's in the calm that follows. Hold your ground. Meet their eyes. Wait 2, maybe 3 seconds, and then say slowly and evenly, "Should I be?" Just 3 words. Yet those 3 words turn the entire tide. They throw the pressure right back where it belongs. Because those who deceive expect you to panic, not to stand firm. They expect fear, not composure. They expect excuses, not clarity. That's why the calm reply slices through their mask like a blade through fog. A boss is questioned about missing funds. He snaps, "Are you accusing me of stealing?" A partner grows defensive when you notice secrecy. She says, "Are you accusing me of cheating?" In both cases, the goal is the same: to turn your search for truth into an attack you feel forced to defend. But the Stoic never takes the bait. He knows that truth doesn't tremble, and wisdom never apologizes for observation. Remember this: the one who asks, "Are you accusing me?" often reveals more than they realize. Question 4. Would I ever lie to you? This one is poison wrapped in velvet. It sounds tender, even wounded, as if you've offended them just by doubting. But pause for a moment and ask yourself, why would someone need to ask such a question? Unless they already sensed you were getting close to the truth. Would I ever lie to you? Isn't a question. It's theater, a carefully rehearsed performance meant to make them look noble and you look cruel for even suspecting otherwise. It's not about honesty. It's about guilt. Because if they can make you feel guilty for doubting, you'll stop asking. You'll silence your instincts. And you'll hand over exactly what they wanted all along: blind trust. But the Stoics remind us, truth never fears examination. Seneca once wrote, "If it is not true, do not say it. If it is not right, do not do it." A person of integrity doesn't need to convince you that they're incapable of lying. They let their actions speak. Quietly, consistently, every single day. Think of real life. A partner who hides their messages and then sighs, "Would I ever lie to you?" A colleague who avoids accountability but insists, "Come on, would I really lie?" The louder they plead their innocence, the more carefully you should listen for the silence beneath. So how would a Stoic respond? Not by rushing to reassure. Not by apologizing for doubt, instead, with calm clarity. When someone asks, "Would I ever lie to you?" Pause, let the silence linger. Then reply, "That's not the question. The question is, would I know if you did?" In that instant, the balance of power shifts. Because liars thrive in fog. They want you lost in confusion, but your words flip on the floodlight, and once the light is on, the shadows can no longer hide them. Remember, honest people don't fear questions, only liars do. So never mistake the performance of innocence for the presence of truth. Question 5. Can't we just move on? This is the final card in the liar's deck. The last desperate attempt when denial and distraction have failed. Now they reach for exhaustion. Can't we just move on? On the surface, it sounds peaceful. Like closure. Like maturity. But look closer. It's not about resolution. It's about escape. What they're really saying is, I don't want accountability. I don't want truth. I just need you too tired to keep digging. And that is how many lies survive. Not because the liar is smarter than the truth, but because the truth seeker grows weary and gives up. The Stoics understood this tactic well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Notice, he never added, unless it's inconvenient. For the Stoic, truth has no expiration date. It doesn't fade because someone wants to move on. It remains steady, unwavering, like stone in the storm. Truth doesn't fade with time. It endures. And those who dare to stand by it, even when it's uncomfortable, carry a kind of power this world rarely understands. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they all recognize the same eternal truth. The man who sees clearly is dangerous. Not because he's violent, but because he cannot be controlled. You see, when you see reality as it is, and not as others want you to see it, you become free. And freedom, in a world built on manipulation, is terrifying. So remember this. You are not cruel for having standards. You are not harsh for seeking truth. And you are not weak for noticing deception. You are awake. And in a world full of shadows, the awake are the ones who make the darkness tremble. So choose clarity, even when confusion feels safer. Choose reason, even when emotion begs you to react. Walk like a stoic warrior, calm, observant, and unshakable. Because real strength isn't loud, it's silent. It's the strength of a mind that refuses to be dragged into chaos, and a spirit that stands unbothered, anchored in truth. If this message speaks to you, tap like, subscribe to Life Through Stoicism, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that calm is stronger than control. And in the comments, write just 3 words. I choose clarity.